Welcome back to the Nature Cures podcast, where we uncover all those secrets to natural healing and holistic wellness and living your healthiest life naturally. And today we're taking a deep dive into a condition that affects a really vital organ to Riller, your liver. We're going to be looking at cirrhosis, which is a serious disease where your liver slowly loses its ability to function.
Right. Yeah, it's a progressive disease. I
Excellent.
mean, it gets worse over time, and we're going to unpack what causes this and how it affects your body, and most importantly, what natural approaches can help.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Well,
For listeners who might not be super familiar with it, can we start with what the liver actually does? I know it's important, but it's not like we think about it every day.
yeah, it's easy to overlook how crucial the liver is until something goes wrong.
Right. It's like the body's central processing unit constantly working behind the scenes,
Yeah.
filters your blood, removes toxins, produces bile, which we need for digestion, stores energy, and it even plays a role in hormone regulation,
So it's not just one job. It's like the ultimate multitasker.
given how much it does. What exactly happens when someone develops cirrhosis?
So essentially, healthy liver cells are replaced by scar tissue. So imagine a smooth, efficient factory slowly being taken over by rough, unusable spaces. This disrupts blood flow and prevents the liver from performing all those vital functions we just talked about.
So you're saying the liver literally becomes damaged and can't do its job as well?
Yeah.
What are some of the early signs that this is happening?
Yeah, so you might experience things like indigestion, gas, nausea, or even some weight loss.
Okay.
And it's easy to just dismiss these as like everyday discomforts.
Right.
But they can be early indicators that your liver is struggling.
That's a good point. Those are things that we often just try to ignore or treat with over-the-counter remedies.
Exactly.
Are there any more serious red flags that people should be watching out for?
As the condition progresses, you might notice jaundice, which is a yellowing of the skin and eyes. And this happens because the liver isn't clearing bilirubin from the blood effectively. Other signs include swollen legs or abdomen spider-like blood vessels on the skin, and even mental confusion in the later stages.
Wow, that's a scary thought. Let's talk about what causes this. Everyone knows that excessive drinking is bad for your liver, but is that the only cause of cirrhosis?
Alcohol is a major contributor, there's no doubt about that. The more you drink and the longer you do it, the higher your risk. But there are other factors at play too. For instance, a diet consistently high in highly seasoned food can really put a strain on your liver over time.
So even if someone is careful with alcohol, their diet could still contribute to liver problems. That's a bit surprising.
It is, and it highlights how interconnected our lifestyle choices are. Certain medications can also contribute to liver damage if taken for prolonged periods.
Okay.
It's not always about what we consume directly. Exposure to toxins in our environment also plays a role.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, because I know there are natural ways to support liver health. Where should someone even begin if they're concerned about their liver?
One initial approach is to give your liver a break with a gentle cleanse. A 7-day juice fast can be incredibly effective using ingredients like red beets, lemon papaya, and grapes, which are known to support liver function.
A juice fast sounds intense. What's the reasoning behind using those specific ingredients?
Well, beets, for example, contain a compound called betaine that helps protect the liver from damage.
Okay.
Lemons are rich in vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant, and papaya contains papain, an enzyme that aids digestion and can help reduce inflammation.
So it's not just about starving the body, it's about using specific foods with properties that actually support liver health.
Exactly.
What comes after the juice fast?
We transitioned to a fruit and milk diet for a few weeks. Fruits are easy to digest and packed with nutrients, while milk, especially raw goat's milk, provides easily absorbed proteins that the liver needs to repair itself.
Wait, goat's milk? I wouldn't have thought of that. What's so special about it for the liver?
Goat's milk has a different fat structure than cow's milk. It's rich in medium-chain triglycerides, which are easier for the liver to process, and it contains less lactose, which can be difficult for some people to digest.
That's fascinating. So we've got the initial cleanse and then a period of gentle nourishment. What does long-term liver support look like? Is it all about restriction?
Not at all. It's about adopting a balanced whole foods diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and high-quality proteins. Think of it as giving your liver the building blocks it needs to thrive.
Okay, so no crash diets or extreme restrictions, just to focus on nourishing foods.
Yeah,
I like that. Are there any specific foods within that framework that are especially beneficial for liver health?
absolutely. Let's talk about protein first. Raw goat's milk, as we mentioned, is great, but homemade raw cottage cheese, sprouted seeds and grains, and raw nuts, especially almonds, are all fantastic sources of protein that support liver regeneration.
So many options. What about veggies? Are there any that stand out as liver superstars?
Beets are top of the list. They're amazing for bile production, which is essential for digestion and detoxification. Squashes are another great choice. They're rich in antioxidants and help to regulate blood sugar, which indirectly supports liver function.
It's amazing how something as simple as choosing the right vegetables can have such a positive impact. But I imagine there are also foods we should be limiting, right? Like, what should people be avoiding to protect their liver?
Refined and processed foods for starters. Those are often loaded with sugar, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives that put a strain on the liver. It's also a good idea to minimize your intake of spices, condiments, strong tea and coffee-fried foods, ghee oils, butter, fatty meats, and excess salt.
So basically a lot of the things that people tend to overindulge in.
Yeah,
It's a good reminder that moderation is key.
exactly. And along with limiting those foods, it's crucial to minimize exposure to toxins from other sources.
You mentioned toxins earlier.
Yeah.
What are some common sources people might not be aware of?
Think about chemical additives in processed foods, pesticides on conventionally grown produce, and even pollutants in our air and water. It's about making conscious choices to reduce your overall toxic burden.
This is such valuable information. I think a lot of people have no idea just how much our environment and daily choices impact our liver health. It's really about creating a holistic approach, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's about nourishing the body with whole foods, minimizing harmful substances, and supporting the liver's natural detoxification processes. It's all connected.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from understanding how the liver works to the damaging effects of cirrhosis and how to support liver health with natural approaches.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I'm curious about other natural therapies. Are there any additional practices that can help?
Yeah, there are a few things that come to mind. Warm water enemas, for instance, can be helpful for cleansing the colon and supporting the body's natural detoxification processes, which in turn reduces the burden on the liver.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have necessarily connected enemas with liver health.
Right. It's all about understanding the interconnectedness of the body's systems. The liver is a key player in detoxification, but it can't do its job effectively if other elimination pathways like the colon are sluggish.
So it's like creating a clear path for toxins to exit the body, rather than letting them build up and recirculate. What else can people do to support healthy elimination?
Addressing constipation is crucial. Regular bowel movements ensure that waste products are being efficiently removed, preventing them from being reabsorbed and further stressing the liver.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some natural ways to keep things moving, so to speak?
A fiber-rich diet is essential. Think fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Those are your allies in the fight against constipation, and adequate hydration is also key.
So simple, yet so important. We've talked a lot about diet and cleansing, but I'm curious about other lifestyle factors that can impact liver health. What about stress? Everyone knows it's bad for you, but how does it actually affect the liver?
Chronic stress can lead to inflammation throughout the body, and the liver is no exception. This inflammation can damage liver cells and contribute to the development of cirrhosis.
So it's not just about feeling stressed out, it's actually causing physical harm to the liver.
Exactly. And it's not just about major life events either. Even those everyday stressors can add up over time.
So what can people do to manage stress and protect their liver in the process?
Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing are incredibly helpful. Even just taking a few minutes each day to focus on your breath can make a big difference.
I love that you're emphasizing the power of simple practices. It doesn't have to be complicated to be effective.
It really doesn't. And finding enjoyable ways to move your body can also be hugely beneficial for stress reduction. Whether it's yoga, walking, and nature dancing, or whatever brings you joy, movement helps to release pent-up energy and tension.
I've heard that exercise can actually improve liver function too. Is there any truth to that?
There is. Regular physical activity helps to improve insulin sensitivity, which in turn helps to regulate blood sugar and reduce the strain on the liver.
So it's a double win. You're reducing stress and improving your liver's ability to function properly. Are there any other lifestyle factors we should be considering?
We can't forget about sleep. Quality sleep is crucial for liver regeneration and detoxification.
I knew you were going to say that. Everyone always talks about getting enough sleep. But how much is enough when it comes to supporting liver health?
Most adults need around 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. And it's not just about the quantity, it's about the quality too. Make sure your bedroom is dark, cool, and quiet, and establish a regular sleep schedule to help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Those are great tips. It's amazing how these seemingly simple lifestyle factors, managing stress, exercising, getting enough sleep, can have such a profound impact on our liver health.
It really is. And it's important to remember that we don't have to be perfect. Just making gradual, sustainable changes in these areas can make a big difference.
I love that message of progress over perfection. It can feel overwhelming to think about overhauling your entire life all at once. So we've covered the physical aspects of liver health pretty extensively, but I want to shift gears a bit. I've heard that emotions can actually impact the liver. Is there any truth to that?
There is. In traditional healing systems like traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is often associated with anger and frustration.
Really? Tell me more about that.
It's fascinating. The idea is that when these emotions are suppressed or unexpressed, they can create a kind of energetic blockage in the liver, leading to imbalances that can manifest in physical symptoms.
Wow. So it's not just about what we put into our bodies, it's also about how we process our feelings.
Exactly. It highlights the mind-body connection and the importance of addressing emotional well-being as part of a holistic approach to liver health.
So how can people support the emotional health of their liver?
Yeah.
What are some practical tips?
Journaling can be a great outlet for processing emotions and releasing pent-up feelings. Meditation can also be incredibly helpful for calming the mind and cultivating a sense of inner peace. And spending time in nature is incredibly grounding and restorative.
I love those suggestions. It's about finding those practices that allow us to connect with ourselves on a deeper level and release what no longer serves us. What about other traditional healing systems? Does Ayurveda offer any insights into liver health?
Absolutely. In Ayurveda, the liver is associated with the fire element, which is responsible for transformation and processing on all levels.
The fire element. That's interesting.
Hmm.
How does that relate to liver function?
Think of the liver as a kind of internal fire, constantly working to break down and metabolize everything we take in. When this fire is balanced, we experience good digestion, clear thinking, and a balanced mood.
But what happens when the fire is out of balance?
That's when we might see symptoms like anger, irritabilities, skin problems, digestive issues, and difficulty sleeping.
It's amazing how these ancient systems like traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda offer such a different lens through which to view health and the body.
It is, and while these perspectives might seem very different from modern medicine, they often complement each other beautifully.
Speaking of modern medicine,
Ah.
I think it's important to acknowledge that while we've been focusing on natural approaches, conventional treatments for cirrhosis do exist.
Absolutely. Natural approaches can be incredibly supportive, but it's essential to work with a qualified healthcare professional to determine the best course of action, which may include conventional medical treatments alongside natural therapies.
It's about finding that synergy between different approaches to create a truly personalized healing plan.
Exactly. It's about empowering ourselves with knowledge and making informed choices that align with our individual needs and circumstances.
Well said. We've covered an incredible amount of information in this deep dive, from the complexities of liver function to the wide range of natural approaches that can support its health, and even the emotional and energetic aspects of well-being.
It's been a journey through the interconnectedness of the body, mind, and spirit.
And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired and empowered to take charge of their liver health and overall well-being.
Absolutely. Remember, even small changes can make a big difference.
Whether it's incorporating more liver-loving foods into your diet, practicing stress-reducing techniques, or exploring gentle cleansing methods, every step you take is a step toward greater health and vitality.
And this is just the beginning of your journey. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep discovering new ways to nourish your body and live your healthiest life naturally.
And, as always, consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any significant changes to your diet or lifestyle.
Until next time.
It's amazing how much we've uncovered about the liver, right? From its physical functions to its connection to our emotions and even its place in those traditional healing systems. It really kind of paints a picture of how vital this organ is to our overall well-being.
It truly is a remarkable organ. And
Yeah.
speaking of traditional healing systems, I'm kind of curious to dive a little deeper into that Ayurvedic perspective you mentioned earlier. You said the liver is associated with the fire element. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So in Ayurveda, the fire element represents transformation, metabolism, and digestion.
Okay.
It's the energy that fuels our bodies and minds.
So the liver is seen as the seat of this fire element.
Exactly. It's responsible for processing everything we consume, both physically and emotionally.
Right.
When the liver's fire is balanced, we experience strong digestion, clear thinking, a radiant complexion, and a balanced mood.
That makes perfect sense. But what happens when this fire element is out of balance? What kind of symptoms might someone experience?
Well, according to Ayurveda, an imbalance in the liver's fire can manifest in a variety of ways. You might see digestive issues like gas bloating or constipation. Skin problems like acne, eczema, or rashes can also be a sign of liver imbalance.
And you mentioned emotional symptoms earlier, right? Like anger and
Right.
irritability.
Yes, absolutely. When the liver's fire is excessive, it can lead to feelings of anger, frustration, and even aggression.
Okay.
On the other hand, if the fire is deficient, you might experience low energy depression and difficulty making decisions.
It's incredible how interconnected everything is. So if someone suspects their liver's fire is out of balance, what can they do to restore harmony?
Ayurveda offers a wealth of tools for balancing the liver's fire element. Dietary recommendations play a big role, of course.
What kind of foods are we talking about here?
Ayurveda emphasizes eating cooling, grounding foods to pacify excess fire. Think leafy greens, cucumbers, zucchini, and sweet fruits like mangoes and pears. Bitter foods like dandelion greens and turmeric can also be beneficial for stimulating bile flow and supporting liver detoxification.
So it's about choosing foods that have a cooling and balancing effect on the body.
Exactly. And just as important as what you eat is how you eat. Right. Ayurveda emphasizes mindful eating, chewing your food, thoroughly eating in a relaxed environment, and avoiding overeating.
It's fascinating how these ancient principles align so well with modern ideas about mindful eating and gut health.
It really is. And beyond diet, there are other Ayurvedic practices that can support liver health, such as herbal remedies, yoga meditation, and specific detoxification techniques.
This deep dive has been so enlightening. We've explored so many different approaches to supporting liver health, from dietary modifications and lifestyle changes to ancient wisdom from traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. It's clear that there's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
You're absolutely right. It's about finding what works best for you as an individual. And that's why it's so important to work with a qualified healthcare professional to create a personalized plan that addresses your unique needs and circumstances.
Well said. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference in supporting your liver health and overall well-being. Whether it's incorporating more liver-loving foods into your diet, practicing stress-reducing techniques, or exploring gentle cleansing methods, every step you take is a step towards greater health and vitality.
This deep dive has really been a journey through the fascinating world of the liver and its crucial role in our health. We've learned so much about its functions, the impact of our lifestyle choices, and the incredible healing power of natural approaches.
It's been a true exploration of the interconnectedness of the body, mind, and spirit. And remember, this is just the beginning of your own personal journey towards greater health and vitality. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep discovering new ways to support your incredible body.
And as always, consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any significant changes to your diet or lifestyle. Until next time, stay curious, stay well, and keep diving deep into the wonders of natural healing.